Hey there, my friend! My name is Stephen Ross, and for the last 12 years, I've been the anime trainer. The fact that you're here means that you need help. We live in an amazing world. Technology has made our lives easier and safer. Food is abundant and delicious, and life is good. Well, I guess you gotta take the good with the bad. But this bad is really bad. We've effectively done to ourselves what the robots did to the humans in WALL-E. It's crazy, right? It's a real shame that we've done this to ourselves. And the few examples of healthy, strong, impressive bodies come from those who do it for sport and for entertainment. The fact is, even with modern day amenities and conveniences, there are examples of people who have taken their limits and broken past them. And if Arnold can do it, then so can you. Okay, that comparison might not be so comforting. How about this instead? If I could do it, then so can you. That's right, me. I ate my feelings, as well as everybody else's. It wasn't until my health became a risk that my dad put myself to work at losing weight. And I went from being the pudgy fat kid that I was in 5th grade to the impressive looking 6th grader in a matter of a single summer vacation. I mean, doesn't seem like such a big deal, but 40 pounds in 10 weeks, that's pretty good. The first thing that you need to understand is that if you don't have actual specific measurable goals, you will fail. You will get nowhere. Let's say you've got to go get a birthday gift for your friend. That's a goal, but it's a vague one. It won't be attainable until you've taken the time to determine what kind of gift you're going to get him. You can go ahead and get in your car, thinking to yourself,
I'm going to get my friend a gift.
And you can drive to the mall, walk around and window shop for an hour and see some things that you might want to get yourself. You'll spend some time in the food court and eventually leave empty-handed. And why is that? It's because you didn't know what you were there for. You want to get in shape? Great. That's a goal, but it's a vague one. You can go to the gym, eat a salad, and drink a bunch of water. But what did you accomplish? Did you take a step towards your goal? Did you make any progression at all? Probably not. You made some good, healthy choices, and I applaud you for that. But you didn't really move in a measurable direction. If you want to make a long-standing difference in your life, you will want to figure out specifically what goals you want to attain. About that birthday gift analogy, you'd want to answer a few questions. What is my friend like? What is my friend in need of? And what is my budget? With those questions answered, you'll be able to figure out what store likely has the gift you can get for your friend. Now, back to fitness. Let's answer a few questions. What kind of body do I want? What kind of body will be useful? Are there any health risks that I need to address first? You can probably extrapolate a few specific goals from those questions. Perhaps you would love to be more flexible, but it would be more useful at your day job for you to be able to lift 100-pound objects. And if you're obese, which is a big health risk, you should probably prioritize a weight loss goal before prioritizing strength and mobility goals. And just as a side note, it's not that you can't work on all 3 factors at the same time, but prioritizing your goals by urgency is sometimes a very important thing to do. But we'll get to that another time. With those questions answered, you might say your number 1 goal is to lose 60 pounds. The next is to lift 100 pounds. And then finally, work your way to being able to complete an advanced yoga class. All before your next birthday. That's another thing about goals. It's good to put a reasonable deadline on them. Otherwise, you tend to flounder. Let me tell you about a student I once taught. I implored him to spend some time coming up with specific, time-based, attainable goals. Otherwise, training him without a direction would have been a waste of time. And last I heard, he still hasn't gotten anywhere positive. But when you have a specific goal, you have something to focus on. You have a direction to point yourself in. Every student I've ever had decide on specific, measurable, attainable, time-based goals have not only succeeded, but have gone beyond what they originally were aiming for. So, let's delve into this. What makes the difference between the goals you should be focusing on and the goals that don't do you any good? The goals you want to have are SMART goals. And because I like acronyms as much as I like puns, SMART means something. The S stands for specific. I know, what a shock. Here we are talking about the importance of specificity, and the first letter in our acronym stands for specific. Crazy. The thing about repetition is that when something is important, it helps to repeat it over and over again. So yeah, I'm not apologizing for repeating myself. Get specific with your goals. The M stands for measurable. There's a difference between saying I want to be strong and saying I want to be able to bench press 225 pounds. There's a difference between saying I don't want to be fat anymore and saying I want to lose 100 pounds. There's a difference between saying I want to be able to run long distances and saying I want to run a full marathon in less than 3 hours. The difference is that in each of these examples, the latter example has a measurable statistic. If you want to be strong enough to bench 225 pounds, but you can barely bench press the 45-pound bar, you'll be able to measure your progress each time you hit the bench. Oh, look at that. You did 50 pounds today. Next week, it may be 55. You may plateau for a month at 65, but before you know it, you're pushing 95 pounds, and it just keeps going up from there. But if your goal is to simply get strong, you'll never be able to measure your progress, at least not accurately. The A is for attainable. If you're considering setting a strength goal of, I want to bench press 1,500 pounds, you might want to reconsider. The world record for heaviest bench press belongs to Ryan Kennelly, and he pressed 1,075 pounds. Odds are, no one is going to make it to 1,500 pounds on the bench. If you want to run a marathon in about 90 minutes, again, probably not going to happen. The world record for marathon completion is Eliud Kipchoge, which if I butchered that, I'm sorry, who ran one in 2 hours, 1 minute, and 39 seconds. That is blazing fast. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm telling you not to aim high. I'm just telling you that there are some things that are impossible. That said, attainable doesn't just refer to things that we know humans have been capable of. Less momentous goals can be attainable for some people and not for others. It all depends on what your physical limitations are. Just be honest with yourself and figure out what's actually attainable. The R in SMART stands for relevant. And this should be obvious. If you tell me you've got a wedding coming up, I could name a few things you might want to focus on in your training. You might want to lose a few inches around the waist. You might want to train your upper body so you can look more impressive in that suit you'll be wearing. These goals would be relevant to your life. The idea is to pick goals that make sense for you to dedicate your time and energy to achieving. So, whenever you're setting a new goal, pinpoint what's important to you. Like I said earlier, the T stands for time-based. And you can have several different goals with different deadlines. You can aim to be able to deadlift 225 pounds within the next 3 months, and also have a specific weight loss goal within the next 6 months. Just be sure that the deadlines you set for yourself are reasonable. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Setting goals that follow these rules is the first step towards training yourself successfully. That said, what about when you do have goals that reflect these ideas and still struggle and fail? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be discussing how we deal with and overcome the struggles and roadblocks in our training. Until then, good luck and train hard.